Hello YouTubes. So I bought a Crossfire XR and I did some stuff to it. This video is going to go over some of my mods and hopefully it's helpful. Check it out. So if you have one of these, you might have noticed it looks a little different underneath. I built two tanks that will hold the capacity of all of the mix in the table, so you can drain it, clean the slats out, do any repairs to handle any leaks, things like that. And then there's a filter and a pump setup that will return that whole volume up to the table. And it also allows you to, if you don't want to drain it, but you just want to sort of filter the contents a little bit, it lets you isolate and do that as well. I've got a guard. I've got my cutter in the back. So I made a guard as like a splash containment, splash guard. Let's call it a splash guard. That's pretty straightforward. And let's see. Those are the major mods that I did. Oh, there's a speed controller on the pump for areas and reasons I'll go into in a little bit. But yeah, let's check it out. So we'll start with the easy one, the splash guard. Got my cutter under there. I put it on a stand so if there is a leak, if I fill the floor, I'm not going to drown that thing. It's the 102i from Everlast, which has been pretty good so far. Good cuts. But this is just spanned from the rail supports here, the Y rails. There's a piece of 1/2 inch sort of arm that sticks out, and I just cut a piece, set it over there, put a, so carefully, I just put a rib down the center, stiffen it up a little bit, but yeah, nothing fancy. But that was a good solution I found to keep the footprint of this real small. Keep the cutter as far away from the controller, which is all the way on that corner, so there's no interference, you don't run into those issues, and it protects it. And then also I had to put a cutout in here for this surface drain, which is part of the filter, which I'll go into it now. So there's just a little angled piece. I welded a coupling on the inside there, a little elbow, and a 1.5 inch, 1/2 inch nipple tilted just above the surface. So that's going to suck down when I open that valve there. That's going to let the surface, skim down, flow into here. I got a T, and I thought that was going to be enough, but it was not, and it was still getting airbound on the other side of the valve, so I added in this other T, just a sort of a snorkel. So if we open that, that's going to start flowing. And runs down this. I put a support, just a piece of angle, and a tech screw with a washer welded to it. So you can take this off if you need to get under here. But that'll flow all the way down here. I already opened this side. And that flows through this valve into the pump and filter. And I got this valve shut. That just isolates the tanks. Come over here. Turn the speed controller on. Found around 64% is good. That'll keep up with the surface drain. That was the problem I was having. That's why I needed the speed controller, because a pump that would refill the table in a suitable amount of time would pull too fast and it would get starved just by the gravity feed. So yeah, 64% works well. Take you off here so you can see it. And the idea is, with the momentum, it creates it's a slower flow, but it creates enough of a flow to drive everything to that side, get sucked down by the drains. And I've been finding at the end of the day, start the lance in this position, you know, after not too long, maybe 5 minutes, move it to about here, and you can keep stepping it across. In about 20-30 minutes, it sort of cleans itself. Yeah, it's been working well. All right, let's see the guts. So under here, there we got a pond filter in the back that actually has a UV light aspect, which isn't super necessary for this, since most plasma additive has a anti-growth component. And I got the pump there, and that's pulling through the filter so we don't gunk the pump up and kill that. And that forces it up into the lance. I found the best, what have we got? I think we got a 3/64 hole in each bay between the ribs all the way down. And since PEX is cheap enough, I got a larger one with larger holes. 3/32 maybe, a little bit smaller or a little bit bigger, for when you're filling from the tank. That just lets it go a little faster. And for the tanks, you know, let's get a better view of that. Got the speed controller and an on-off, which is I've found to be important when you're doing builds like this. Right there we got the pump mounted vertical. It came with its own little pre-filter. So I thought, why not? Let's put that in there. Don't use tools when you're installing that stuff. I snapped enough plastic pieces to learn that lesson. And here's the pond filter, plug for the UV, which again, you don't really need, but figure what the heck. There's the valve in the upper right corner there. That's the valve coming from the tanks, which will lay it out that way. And there we got the PVC manifold from the 4-inch shower drains I added. Isolation valve back there, or the drain valve. That'll keep her full or let her flow down through that elbow and fill up those tanks. There's your, got your drain valve and your elbow. Now the tanks I made out of aluminum, so you can run a magnet in there, clean up all the gunk that you collect. And I've got a couple different size perforated plate as just sort of hard passive filters. 2 in the first tank and 1 fine filter in the second. This side. I went a little overkill here, which you definitely don't need to. I got a 2-inch flex hose there, and since the outlet is only 3/4 inch tubing, that doesn't have to be 2-inch. That could easily be 3/4, and it would keep up with the flow. This aluminum, this was my first time cutting aluminum, 12 gauge, and it warped like crazy. That might not be the worst one, but that was a lesson learned. And it was a little pricey, but hey, cost of education, right? So that's, I'm trying to think of what else. I think that's a good view of the physical layout. I suppose we can go into the electronics now. You know what? The nitty-gritty of the electronics we'll do in another video. I will say, get a surge strip that has the prongs sideways, because you won't be able to fit all the wall warts on a regular inline surge strip. And, you know, clean it up as best you can, but that is not my strong suit. You can sort of see what I mean here. See, here's the fluid level. So the drains at 64% of the speed controller, they're maintaining a nice sort of even exit and or discharge and recharge of the tank. It's the sort of wonky piping layout or tubing. That could definitely be accomplished better, but hey, show me what you got. And oh, I almost forgot to mention, I'm not sure why, but when you're done filtering, shut that FAR valve first. Don't know why, but if not, it sort of backflows and splurts out of there. If you know the physics of that, please fill me in. That's a weird one, but yeah, shut that one, then this one, and then kill the pump. Or actually, you can let it keep running and drain the lines, because that pump can run dry and it's self-priming. So good choice, works well. And the other one that I almost forgot to mention, the drains. I opened these. The stock table comes with a drain here and in the far corner, but I opened them up and put 4-inch shower drains in. They sort of saw the PVC from the underside, but put them in, caulked the hell out of it, and yeah, that just adds for a much easier drain time, and you get the whole table. I might, if I did it again, I might put the drains down the center, because I do find some low spots that don't quite drain out, but that may just be my table. Oh, caulk. Yeah, when if you haven't put yours together yet, caulk way more than you think you should. The only leaks I had were between the bolts that hold the segments together. So I went back in and really went crazy. I used this Loctite, the marine grade stuff, and that seemed to be working well. So yeah, save yourself the headache and really go overboard, and it'll treat you right. So yeah, I think that covers everything. I'll do the electronics video. It's very straightforward, but hey, why not, right? So yeah, down in the comments, leave me any suggestions and improvements you would make, and even better, put a video of your improved system, because I want to improve mine and I'll copy yours, and that's how things get better. Definitely the tubing can be improved, but yeah, make it your own, have fun with it, like, subscribe, all that stuff. I'm more active on Instagram at Foxdog Welding, but yeah, hit me up and have fun.
Yeah.